Okay, boys and girls, we are in Unit 5. Welcome back to Fundations. Today we're going to be talking about prefixes and more suffixes in addition to the ones that we already know. We've talked about multisyllabic words and IC endings like in magic and traffic, and we've talked about AU and AW. Now, before we move on, let's go to our trick words. Now I'm going to do something different today. You don't have to spell these words. I just want to look at them with you. If you want to spell them, you certainly can. But let's just take a look at them. So the first one is once. And I want you to be careful here because this is not the word that you see in red, like she wants another cookie. They sound exactly the same, but the spelling is different. This is once, like once I went to the beach while it was snowing. Okay? And then against, just remember that it's the same as again with an ST at the end. And then new. Now, our trick word, KNEW, is, oh, I knew that. You didn't have to tell me. I knew that. It is not this word that you see in red, like, oh, I really want those new shoes. Okay, so be careful. And then, if you look down at the fourth word, it's not no, like the opposite of yes is no. This is, oh, come on. I know that. You don't have to tell me that, Mr. P. Please. Okay, so be careful with this one. Always is a trick word because usually all is spelled with two L's, like call, tall, small, and fall. And a long time ago, always was spelled with two L's, but now it's just one. It looks like it should be said always. Be careful. Always has one L. And finally, some people say often, some people say often. Don't forget that there's a T there, okay? And that this E actually sounds like an I. Okay, that's it for the trick words. Let's move on. So let's start by looking at prefixes. Pre means before, like preschool. And one of the meanings of fix means attach. So prefixes are things that are attached before the base word, at the beginning of it. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Miss. Miss means wrong or bad. It can also be not. So if you misspell something, you didn't spell it correctly, or you spelled it wrongly. If you misunderstand someone, you didn't understand them correctly. And when you have these, you can break the words right there. Okay? There's the prefix, miss, and spell and understand are your base word. Another prefix that we have, and this is a very common one, is un, which also means not, like unfair and unopened. Okay? And again, if we want to break it, if we want to separate it, we're just going to do that. Okay? Unopened, unfair, and there's your base word. Okay? Not that difficult, right? And there's so many words. We have like unfriendly and unable. Okay? All right, let's move on. So we have miss and un. Another one that we have is non, and non also means not. So we get a lot of really difficult ones, to be honest with you, like non-negotiable and non-binding. Now, don't worry about negotiable and binding mean what they mean, but non just means not. Like a non-smoking area is an area where you can't smoke or something, or somebody can't smoke. Okay, now the important thing to remember with non is it has a hyphen. Okay, so it's not really part of the word. It's just connected by this hyphen. Okay? Okay, here's another one, dis. And this one also means not. So you might dislike someone, or you might be disloyal. That means you're not loyal to them. If you dislike them, you don't like them. And we just break it right there. We separate the prefix from the base word. Not that difficult, right? Okay, and this one also has so many words. You shouldn't disobey your parents. Okay? So get used to seeing this one, and it's one of the many prefixes which means not. Okay, here's another one, trans. Now, we're not going to have too many words right now that use this, but trans means across. If you go on a transnational flight, that means you are going from one end of the country all the way across to the other. Okay? Now, the example I'm giving here has a hyphen, but there's some where it's not necessary. So we'll have words like transaction. These are some pretty big words, okay? But I just want you to know that prefix when you see it. Trans means across. Okay, so that was the prefixes. Now let's go to the suffixes, okay? And we've already talked about some of them. And we are going to break suffixes down into two types. We have the vowel suffixes and the consonant suffixes. So the vowel suffixes, this is pretty easy, all begin with a vowel. Es, ed, ing. You see there's an e, there's an I, er, est, en. All of these are vowels. And that's why we call these the vowel suffixes. So the consonant suffixes, of course, are going to do what? They're going to start with consonants. F, L, M, N, and S. So let's take a look at all of these. Now remember, all of these are going to be attached to the end of the base word. And they, just like the prefixes, they can change the meaning. So let's look at full, like thankful, careful, handful. If we use full as a suffix, it just means full of. If you're a thankful person, you're full of thanks. If you're a careful person, you are full of care. In other words, you pay attention. You don't just run around and act recklessly. Okay? If you have a handful of money, it means you have a lot. You could fill up a hand with it. Now, one thing to remember about this is that full, when it's a word by itself, is spelled F-U-L-L, and it even has that bonus letter. But when it's a suffix, there's no bonus letter. That's an important spelling tip. A suffix that has the opposite meaning is less, like thankless and careless. If you're thankless, you have no thanks. You don't say thank you. If you're a careless person, you're not careful. Another one that you'll see a lot of is meant, like shipment and employment and enjoyment. The one thing you have to be careful of here is that it sounds like an I. Shipment. We don't say shipment. It's a little difficult to say. But just remember, it sounds like an I, but it's actually spelled with an E. Then we get ness, like kindness, and joyfulness. Oh, joyfulness is an interesting one because the base word is joy, and we've got this suffix, full, joyful, and we have another suffix, joyfulness. Okay? And this is another one that's spelled with an E, but really it sounds like an I, kindness. Okay? All right, let's move on. The next one is ish, like childish, and brownish. If something is brownish, it's not really brown, but it's kind of close to brown. Okay, we use this a lot with colors. If somebody's childish, they're kind of acting like a child. Okay? Okay, then we have an interesting one, en, like freshen and lengthen and strengthen. En means make it a certain way. When you freshen something, you make it fresh. When you lengthen something, you make it long. When you brighten something, you make it bright. That's all it does. When you strengthen something, you make it strong. Okay, and this last one, now by itself, it's the word able. But when it's used as a suffix, it becomes ible, like expandable and playable. And if something is expandable, you can expand it. If something is playable, you can play it. And this one has thousands of words with it, so it's a really good suffix to know. All of these are important. Okay, so let's see if you can spell these words. The first one is insist. Insist. Oh, please let me hold the door for you. I insist. Okay, here it is. Make sure you have it written down a second time now that you've seen the correct spelling. The next word is misfit. Misfit. A misfit is a person who doesn't belong. Misfit. Okay, let's have a look at it. All right, your next one is thankful. Thankful. I am so thankful for so many things, especially now at Thanksgiving. Thankful. Okay, let me show you how it's spelled. Your next word is robin. Robin. In my backyard, I saw a cardinal, a blue jay, and a robin. Okay, here it is. The next one is madness. Madness. I'll give you a hint. Your base word is mad. And madness is like craziness. Okay, here it is. Okay, and your last word is chipmunk. Chipmunk. The chipmunk is such a cute little animal, but it runs away if you try to get close. All right, and here it is. Make sure you have all of these written down. Okay, boys and girls, that's it for today. Sorry, I just love chipmunks. I think they're so cute. I love the chipmunk cartoons, Chip and Dale, and even the word is funny, chipmunk, chipmunk. Okay, I hope you're smiling too and having a fantastic day. The end.